Bonjour, Charles.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. How I started climbing, I was with my parents in Fontainebleau, my hometown, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. So you're from Fontainebleau, the town?
Well, I was born in Fontainebleau, but I grew up just next to it.
Yeah, your parents, are they climbers as well then?
My father is a climber, and my mother was just following him sometimes.
So did you, when you started climbing, did you only climb in Fontainebleau, or did you climb in the gyms and in
No,
junior
it was
team?
just Fontainebleau. I remember when I was 6, my father got into a club, and they had a climbing wall, and he took me there once, and I said, "This sucks."
Okay, so from the beginning, it was just outdoor climbing. That was your thing.
Yeah, well, for him too, but
Yeah.
indoor was more like doing some sport and just to stay in shape.
So when did you start with indoor climbing then?
I was 14 or 15 when I got into the same club for climbing, and I was going there once or twice a week for 3 years.
And at some point, you were also competing, right?
Yeah, I did some
Yeah.
competitions during that time and continued for a few more years in the youth.
Yeah, so did you were like third in a European Youth Cup? That's I mean, that's the only youth cup you did, right?
Yeah.
And you were third, but you
Yeah.
didn't like it, or
Well, this one is a good memory because it's a funny one. It was a time when I stopped my studies and I decided to just rock climb. And I went to this place in the western part of France with amazing bouldering that's unknown. And I mean, it's not unknown, but no one likes this area except me. And it was amazing. I just climbed there and went back to Paris for the European Youth Cup. I had the time to climb once in Fontainebleau. I put up an 8A, and then it was raining the next few weeks, so I did not climb for a week or 10 days, I don't know, and went to the competition. And the coach was there. We arrived, and the coach said, "So who climbed yesterday? Sit there. Who climbed the day before yesterday? Oh, yeah. So you guys, you will do some warm up today. So tomorrow you're ready for competing. Who climbed the day before that?" And it was only me who didn't say anything. And he was like, "Charles, when did you climb last time?" I don't know, like maybe a week ago. So he said, so just do like other people, like everybody else." And then for the finals, I somehow was the only guy in the finals. And the coach said, "Yeah, so remember, there are a few things you have to do. It's be careful about starting the boulder, like not touching the holds, moving the feet and climb the boulder because it counts as a try. First boulder, I flash it. I'm one of a few guys who did it. It was an easy things on volumes about balance. So I flash it, and the judge says one flash or something on the paper. And as I get down, it was a guy from IFSC, I don't know, who I previously asked if I could climb barefoot, but he said no. And he told me, "Oh, no, you didn't flash this boulder. You did 2 tries." Really? 2 tries? I don't know. I was focused into the competition, but I think I did exactly what the coach said to not do. which is touching the holds and moving around and starting the boulder afterwards. Second boulder, I wait for the last second before climbing, but it was at that time that the rule changed and you had only the timer, the 5 minutes to do the boulder, and you couldn't finish your last try. So they warned us about it, but I still did it. Third boulder, it was there was the arete of the wall, and I thought it was not in the boulder. I thought it was forbidden. And at some point, it was some crimpy start, and then there was a dyno to the finish. So I kept falling at that jump. After falling, I finished the circuit and meet everyone and say, "Oh yeah, this boulder is really hard. I don't understand that jump." And they told me, Charles, no, it was not a jump. There was this. It's not an undercut to the left. It was a thumb catch with the arete. So this is the competition.
So let's say you could have done even better.
Yeah.
With a little more focus, a little more routine, maybe.
Yeah, but it was not my my thing.
You didn't like it.
It's fun because of this, but and because I had good results. Otherwise, it's a boring experience. It's a lot of waiting and climbing problems that don't really inspire you.
Let's start still a little bit like the Charles right now. Where do you live, for example? Do you live in Paris or Font or
near Fontainebleau with my girlfriend in her house?
And do you are you full professional climber, or do you work?
I barely make a living with climbing. And I try to become full professional. I don't work either.
So who's your main sponsor?
E9 for now.
Ah, right. Cool. Just out of curiosity, has any shoe companies asked you like?
No,
not even for like. I mean, they also do sneakers and.
Yeah, but they're not interested, I guess.
No.
I asked some brands, but they offered me just shoes.
That's the only thing you don't need, huh?
Yeah, I mean, approach shoes, but apart from selling them, there's no.
You'd need to get a lot of shoes if you should make a living from selling the shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it actually start that you climb with no shoes?
It was a time where I just forgot my shoes one day, and that's it. And then, it was a challenge. It was a little challenge for warm-ups or for, a little easier boulders. And I quite enjoyed it. That's it. Then I got into harder and harder problems and reached my maximum level. That was 7C at the time. And I also liked that it was something unique. It was my own thing.
And you never climbed with shoes afterwards, or?
A couple times indoor and once outdoor on a slab. And that's it. But it was many years ago already.
So you didn't have any like role models, some other climber that you looked up to and saw that who was climbing bare feet? It was
not who were climbing bare feet, but my models in climbing were Patrick Edinger and Béraud.
Yeah, I can see that, and I mean, Patrick Edlanger's his style was really, really cool style, and a bit similar to yours, I'd say, like with the movement.
Yeah, I like the style of movements. And and I've read that they were inspired by Paul. So I've read about him, and it was really interesting too.
Nowadays, I mean, I'm sure you're an inspiration to a lot of climbers. And I've seen, on social media, people climbing barefoot. Have you noticed that in Fontainebleau as well, that more people are climbing barefoot?
Yeah, more people are climbing barefoot even on easy problems, or mostly on easier problems, because it's very convenient in Fontainebleau.
When did people begin to notice you? Do you remember this? Like when they say, "Oh, this is Charles, he climbs barefoot and he's really, really good," and wanted to film you, or do you remember this?
Yeah. It was this guy called Neil Hart. Maybe you remember him.
Yeah.
He filmed me a couple of times in Fontainebleau. Where he made some movies, and that was the start.
And how did that make you feel?
I was quite happy because it was some recognition from what I loved, and also I was happy that he could take me climbing to areas I couldn't reach with my bike.
Talked to Björn before we start the interview, and I told him I saw some movie about you, like when you have been living in Font in some like cave or something. What was that like? Was it like you have been really living there, or was it just for the movie? Or
actually, when I accepted the movie, I was thinking about leaving the cave already, because it was real. I really lived there, but not all the time. It was mostly in fall and winter.
Winter.
It lasted 5 years, and I was staying 2 to 3 weeks, and then going a couple days to 1 week, see my family, recover, and going back to the cave. That was the rhythm. So during fall, winter, and the beginning of spring, but during the beginning of spring, I was usually traveling because there were too many people in Font. So I was leaving to either one time Switzerland or twice, I don't know, but mostly to that western part of France I told you about earlier.
Is that Bretagne or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine lives there, and I could live at his apartment and just climb. And then in summer, I was going to Geneva, try the crack project that maybe you've heard about.
Oh, maybe.
So this lasted 5 years, and after the real rock, and I was thinking about maybe I need some to improve my my comfort, or get an easier life, If I'm rested, if I train, I will be stronger, and I could climb my projects more easily, or faster, at least. So the real rock thing was 3 or 4 years after I began the cave thing. And yeah, that's it. It started, they contacted me when I started dwelling in caves. They contacted me, and I said, "Oh no, maybe I will do my own thing," or I wasn't interested. It was a time where for example, an interview like this, I would have said, "No, I'm not interested." Yeah, and a few years later, I thought, maybe I need an easier life to improve at climbing. And at that time, I saw Chad, a friend of mine in Colorado, who told me, maybe you should contact this guy called Josh. He does films. He does re-rock films. Maybe he can pay you a little money, film you, and you can make some money with that. and there was a light in my head. I was, maybe you can film me and I can make a little money to start with. And that's how it started. And that's how the movie was decided.
But in the winter, it must have been super cold.
Yeah, super humid.
Back to now, your current project, Le Charlatan.
Mhm.
What happened? I mean, we all saw what happened in the video,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's been a project of yours for so long,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
think that when you come to the lip and it looks like, in font terms, not a super hard mantle, and you got injured somehow.
Mhm.
Like when did this happen? The
It
video.
was 2 months ago. And now I'm getting better. I'm thinking about trying again in maybe 2 weeks or something.
Mm. But what happened to your shoulder?
It popped out and in instantly.
Okay.
It's your shoulder can pop out and you have to put it back.
Yeah.
Like
Dislocated.
But this time
Dislocated.
it's dislocated and relocated instantly. So it's less. It's a lesser injury.
But then I understand why you didn't try to mantle. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was just painful.
Yeah, but it must have been also mentally very painful.
But at the beginning, I was happy I did the move. But then after a few days, it was hard to move my arm. And I thought, right now I could be trying the low start instead of just of doing nothing. So this was hard mentally.
You are climbing now or training again?
Yeah, now I can climb and just avoid certain moves.
Yeah.
There's still some little soreness sometimes, but it's fine.
So did it dislocate the shoulder when you actually grabbed the lip?
Mhm.
Or
Well, some say it's when I grabbed the lip, but I felt the cracking noise when I had the shoulder up and trying to mantle.
and you also said that it's actually a possible low start.
Yeah, it's it would be really hard.
That would be really hard. Yes.
But it adds 2 moves that seems as hard as the 2 moves of the stand start.
And the sand start. I mean, since you worked it's been a project for 7 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I would guess it would be, you don't have to say anything, but probably in the 9A range.
Yeah. I'd grade it 9A. It's really hard.
And you say that the start is as hard?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's possible, but it seems like a hard move.
Yeah, obviously. But is it like that kind of problem? Is it because some problems like l'ombre de voyageur, for example, it seems like if you use shoes and knee pads and all the rubber things, you can it's you can do different solutions, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw Pete Whittaker on it, for example, and I mean, it wasn't as beautiful, but it's the same thing with Le Charlatan. Like, could you do it differently, you think, somehow?
I don't think you could, because there are not many holes, not many texture on the rock. But maybe you can, I don't know. And for the low start, climbing shoes would help because there's a small foothold.
That must be the main thing, that when it's like really small foothold on edges, must be make it harder, like with barefoot.
It depends, but it makes it harder when you have to push a lot on the small foothold, because sometimes you use a small foothold just for balance or for a little bit and you push slightly onto it. But typically when you have an undercut and a small foothold, it's really hard.
Yeah. To put super lot of pressure on the foot. It's, yeah.
And the low start of charlatan is undercling and a small foothold.
So how do you grade those things? Because you are climbing barefoot, and the other people, they have shoes, so that would be like probably easier. So how do you put a grade on for the problems?
It's just how I feel it. I try to think a little bit about how a shrewd climber would do it and find a grade. It's just how I feel the grade.
But is it like, for you say, for me it's like 9A, but because I don't use the shoes, with the shoes would be probably whatever 8C plus or something, that you say 8C plus, or is stick with the 9A?
I'd say 8C plus.
Okay.
If I think so.
Yeah, like you did with L'Ombre de Voyageur.
Because the grade is for people to come try. So since they don't climb barefoot, I have to try to adjust the grade.
Yeah. But you mentioned that the low start on this charlatan would be maybe better with shoe, but because it's an undercut. But it's the same thing with l'hypothèse, right?
Yes. The one in Cuvier. Hypothèse sit start. But it's this one is the footholds are smears.
Oh, okay.
And since they are smears, it's easier for me.
But do you know if anyone has been working on that set? Because I mean, it's in Cuvier. It's like one of the most popular and easily access areas. Lots of people there all the time, and a very famous problem.
I know that somebody has found a different way, but I don't know if it's a dead end or not, or if he has tried much.
It's a very big move, no?
Yeah, it's a big move.
Yeah, must be.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the move. No, I mean I see the problem.
Cool.
But I didn't know that there were. This was a long time ago, so there was no sit start. Next time we need to go there. I mean, we're going there for Easter. Unfortunately, Easter. So hopefully I can go there to check it out, because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I would love to also go and have a look at the charlatan as well.
Cool. It's
I think looks so cool. I think the moves are so cool.
No, thank you.
I mean,
it's actually an old project.
It was?
Yeah. Fred Nicol tried it. Jackie tried it. And strong locals tried it that are lesser known.
Is anyone else trying it now?
No, sometimes a friend of mine tries it, Nicolas.
Pelosson?
Yes. Yeah. And he's actually the one that found the beta for the second move now. I tried it for 2 years the wrong way, even though there are only 3 holds.
Yeah.
One day he comes up and says, "Oh yeah, maybe with this foot it's better." Well, when he found the beta, I wasn't there, so it was a common friend that told me, "Oh yeah, Nicolas found a way. He's close of doing the move. It works out like this." So I tried it and did the move like that. I was happy I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's so cool that it's such a hard problem with so few moves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pure somehow.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. Is that what you're looking for in projects? Like, because I'm sure, or I should ask you, are there a lot of things? Like, can you find a lot of new projects, you think?
Yeah, I think I could.
Mm.
But I'm not the type of climber that goes hiking for a whole day and look for boulders. I just walk around and see and climb in an area, and sometimes I see a possibility, and that's how I find my projects.
Are you motivated to like try some other project in other countries, or you want to stay in Font and climb everything there?
Well, there is some projects in Val Bavoda I'd like to try more, and one in Gotardo, both in Ticino. Otherwise, in other countries, in the United States, there is one project I couldn't climb last when I was there. I'd like to try it again. And
Where was that? Where in?
in Colorado.
Mhm.
It's in Coal Creek Canyon.
Do you remember the name of the project, or?
It was yeah. So I did a high sit start. That's I call Bloody Sunday, and there's the proper sit start. I mean the lower sit start. That's still to be done.
That's with the tiny crimps. Is that one? That one?
Yeah, it has a small crimp in it, but it's about undercuts.
Okay.
So you are more into the like projecting new stuff than repeating already boulders which are done, like some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something interesting. If I'm interested in repeating boulders, not so much, because since I'm a teenager, my assets are not very common for climbing. I'm flexible. I don't have a lot of power, but I can climb dynamically. So since a young age, I had to find my own problems, and I did first ascents because they were more fitting than existing boulders, and that's how I could climb and climb harder in my style. So I'm since a young age in this approach, and now with the barefoot thing, the line of weakness on the rock, that is different than when you're climbing barefoot than with climbing shoes or knee pads. For example, there is a problem called the island in Fontainebleau. And for me, that's not the logical line since I'm barefoot. The logical line is a 9A project with a tiny crimp just to the side of it, but it's not the island itself. And so that's why repeating boulders is not a goal for me. It's it's not I cannot see a video and say, I'm sure I want to try it, because the line is, I don't see the same lines.
I understand, and so this project you mentioned on well, the Big Island, or is it to the left of it, or I mean, same start, or
just to the right of it? It's
to the right,
same start as the Big Island, but you don't use the left arête. You just go straight by holding a tiny crimp.
Yeah. When you say the tiny crimp, is that where you slap with your right hand on the
Kinda.
Big Island?
Yeah,
Ah, okay, up there. That must be a really, really small crimp.
yeah.
And you talked also about your strength, that you said you didn't have a lot of power, but what I heard is that your finger strength is crazy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's probably due to barefoot climbing, because I can't push as hard as with climbing shoes with my legs.
Of course.
About that, actually, how do you train? Like, do you just rock climb, or do you have some specific trainings?
Alors, for a long time, it was only rock climbing and some stretchings. And now I do, I mean, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I've started doing some warm-up exercises or stuff like that, like doing this with the hand or doing this because I had soreness in my neck, in my back, in my elbows all the time, my shoulders, and this helped, and it turned into training because now I do harder exercises, and it's been a year I got into physical training because it's I thought it's my weakness.
Like weightlifting, or
No, just push-ups, pull-ups, this type of
Okay.
things.
so with your own body weight?
Gymnastics or calisthenics. And recently I started doing fingerboard again, because there is one type of grip I like to master.
Which is?
It's crimp.
Oh, okay.
Like a full crimp type
Uh,
of thing, or
it's a crimp like this.
like open
Yeah,
crimp, half
not
crimp.
open-handed like this, but like this.
Yeah.
Open-handed using the last segment.
What did you do with your fingers? Like,
I just slipped off a
yeah.
hold like this.
So you, yeah.
Mm,
That's nasty. Yeah.
yeah. So no bar fight.
No.
I watched an interview, was it yesterday maybe, with Adam Ondra after he did Sudan Sol, and he mentioned, I mean, you were down in Czech Republic,
Yeah.
and climbed, and he was so impressed by your climbing, and he said about Terranova, because you tried it, and he said that, the rest of us, we do 6 really hard moves, and Charles, he did 1. What you have to tell us how, what?
Well, yeah, it's because one day I tried, it was the end of the trip, and I felt tired, or maybe it was the conditions, but there is a slippery pinch that day I couldn't hold. So I tried to skip it, and I skipped it. So there is the beginning that's not so hard, and you get to a crimp, a horizontal crimp. It's quite small, and he does a heel hook and go up to that flat pinch.
Yes.
Before this shoulder move. So since I couldn't hold the pinch that day, so I get the crimp, and I had my right foot on the one of the previous holds, so no heel hook, and just crossed to the undercling. So instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4 moves, I did just one move, and
So you press a lot with your foot then to get into the undercling, I guess?
it's about the positioning. So where he puts his heel hook, the rock goes out a little bit, and then it goes in with with the crimp. So with my right foot, I push into the wall so I can hang my body with that crimp, so I can do anything I want with it.
Wow.
Did Adam try this? But
No, he was training.
okay,
He was just doing his training.
yeah,
Because for him, this crag is like
Like an outdoor gym.
an outdoor gym.
Yeah. So, is this a problem that you would consider going back to?
Well, if I have the opportunity, why not?
And I guess this solution of yours, it's not on video.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
If
Because there was
it's
one guy filming, but maybe he didn't catch the moment.
that would be super cool to see. It, yeah,
yes, yes.
It's just a classic cross move.
yeah, but
Yeah, it's
kind of
just
hard, maybe. Yeah,
but it seems you could do that one rather quickly.
Yeah.
All climbers have care about their skin, fingertips, and you file, and some people use like rhino skin and so on.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you do something similar for your toes? Like,
No,
Oh.
I don't do it either for my hands.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
it must be super painful to like heel hook, for example, or
I no longer heel hook.
not at all. Okay,
Sometimes I do, but it's very rare.
for the weak people, heel hooking.
And also, sometimes when I heel hook again, since it's not a technique I'm used to do anymore, I feel a cramp in my
Yeah,
eyes, and
Is getting cold toes a problem? Like, because sometimes when you climb, when it's cold outside, you can feel your fingers getting numb, and you don't feel the rock really. Is it the same thing with feet?
exactly, yes.
Not much to do about it, I guess.
Just try to stay warm.
Yeah. I mean, I realized you would never use shoes, but would you use like taping your feet or?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If for cracks, why not?
Yeah.
I tape my fingers too when it's bleeding, so it's the same with the feet.
Yeah, but you would not use like sort of if it were like a rubber heel or something to put on for heel hooking.
I could wear climbing shoes, a climbing
Exactly.
shoe otherwise.
Yeah. That's true. It's one or the other.
But maybe one day, I don't know.
Oh, that's good. So you don't feel that you have to be like barefoot all the time just because you once said so. You can change your mind, of course.
Yeah.
do you use the chalk for the feet if it's too warm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use chalk on my feet, like on my hands.
But you
Makes
cannot
sense.
you cannot probably chalk up like while climbing, right? The feet, I mean.
Well, since I don't sport climb, it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
L'ombre du voyageur, for the crack in Geneva, I chalked up my feet.
While hanging, right, with your hands. Yeah. But you did try. I saw you on some routes a couple of years ago. No, in Zeus, I think,
Yes.
and Bukes as well. Is that something you'll go back to, you think?
Maybe someday, but I'm not a fan of sport climbing. But maybe it's not out of question.
Do you train with other people or just on your own?
For training, I like to be on my own, but for climbing, I climb with other people.
You prefer to climb with other people outdoor, or?
Some days I do, some days I don't.
We have some questions from people on the Instagram. Are you interested in Burden of Dreams?
Yeah.
Would you go try it, do you think?
Maybe someday I'd go and try the Lap Nor.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's still the Lap Nor project.
Okay.
But maybe someday I'd try Burden of Dreams. It's
maybe
not high on the
money.
list of
No.
my goals or projects.
So what is actually high on the list? Highest?
It's the Charlatan project.
Yeah.
The other one we see in the re-rock with tiny crimps. It's another one I'd like to try again. Because last year I broke a hold, and I broke it partly. Yeah, I'd like to see if it still goes.
Like, do you take an interest in like competition climbing? Did you watch the Olympic climbing, for example?
I did watch the Olympics. I think it was women's semifinal or finals. I don't know. I watched it a little bit. Yeah, I'm not following the whole circuit.
What do you think of the competition climbing style?
But it's a different sport. I mean, it's
Right.
not a different sport, but it's very specific to a style of climbing.
Are you the best boulder in the world?
But I'd say no, because I haven't sent as many problems as other people.
But let's say you are for sure the best boulder in the world who climbs barefoot.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This long crack line of yours, l'ombre du voyageur, that's probably a really bad pronunciation, but
It's
it
fine.
means sort of the shadow of the traveler.
Uh-huh.
How did you come up with the name? Does it mean anything special?
Yeah, it's because so it's a boulder that it's a cave that a friend of mine showed me one day, and the day he took me up there, we walked through the mist, and we thought we were lost in the mountain. And at some point, we got over the clouds, and it was like when we got over the clouds, we found we saw the cave, and we went up there, and it looked like a painting. That is comment on appelle ça? The traveler above the sea of fog, or
okay.
and so that's the name of an 8B or 8B plus variation of it that starts about halfway through the problem. It has it adds a 7C boulder into the second half of the crack. So this is le voyageur face à la mer de nuages, the traveler above the sea of fog. So I thought the second half would be l'ombre du voyageur, his shadow, because I was reading Nietzsche at the time, and there is a character that's his shadow.
Oh,
So I thought it was cool.
it is cool. That's a good story. It's a good name. I mean, I think the names of problems, they always get so much better if there's some kind of story behind it.
Yeah.
And if you know the story, you know.
And also, the day I sent l'ombre was the first time we saw the sea of fog again. It was a rainy day, and we got over the clouds, and there was this. It was just like the first day. It was sunny up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Kind of
too.
like
And it's also full circle.
Sign of the mountain.
Yeah.
Also, if you've seen the movie about the l'ombre du voyageur, it's what you see is the third ascent, actually.
Oh, really?
It's the second time I did the problem. I came back for the video and did it again. And the first ascensionist was, I don't remember his name, but it was 30 or 40 years ago. He aid climbed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it has some story, like history that.
Yeah, but at the time of the movie, we didn't know that this guy aid climbed it.
I guess you watched Pete Whittaker try it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not as fluent and beautiful, but I mean, it's also his first
Yeah.
day on it.
Yeah, it's a good day for a first day.
Yeah, it's a good different, but it's so different.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected that it would be different, but
Yeah.
I feel bad because it seems like it will get downgraded.
It's also very, very, like you said before, that you try to think about like how would it be with shoes, how would it be with knee pads, but it's really, really hard to know, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you should feel bad about it. That at all. I mean, a grade is just a suggestion, right?
Yeah.
And the second
Serious
question,
questions. Okay. How much do you bench press?
What's bench press?
You know, when you're lying on the bench and you lift the weight.
Okay. Well, last I remember it was 30 kilos when I was 16 or something, because there was in in sports for high school,
Right.
we had access to these machines and we tried everything, and that was about what we did.
Okay. A long time ago.
Yeah.
what about one-armers?
One arms.
How many one-arm pull-ups can you do?
I'm training to do one.
Okay.
And last serious question. Pistol squats. Do you know what that is?
Squats.
Pistol squats with one leg when you sit on
One leg. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Can you do that? How many can you do?
I've never tried to do more than one.
I think this is really good for people to hear. Like, because if you watch social media, you would think that to be a really good climber, you need to do 10 one-arm pull-ups and you need to be super strong and well, apparently not. You can be a world-class climber and don't do without being able to do one-arm pull-ups.
No, the point of climbing is to learn how to use your body to ascend a boulder or a route or anything. So the training comes when you know the techniques already, and it's not necessary. It's not as important as you think. Maybe if you don't have access to a climbing area or something, it's nice to do gymnastic training, stuff like this. But yeah, when I've learned how to climb, when I was a kid, my father told me, yeah, in climbing you must use your feet. You don't need the arms. You just need to push on your feet because your legs are stronger.
You never ever climb indoors these days?
No, I don't. Comment on dit? I coach my girlfriend when she goes indoor.
Okay. But are you allowed to climb at all barefoot?
I don't climb. I just
No. You just okay. You don't show her anything, or just
no. Sometimes I set up a boulder for her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you climb with some French competition climbers, like outdoor?
No. Well, generally, in France at least, competition climbers are not climbing outdoor because they are focused on their training and and getting ready for a competition or getting fit for a certain date, or so they rarely climb outdoor. And I don't.
There are some like the Meshti. Meshti Shark, he climbs outdoor.
Sometimes, yes.
Well, it's not a climbing partner you can trust. I think that's it. This was so nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm sure we won't see you in Fontainebleau at Easter. You will be somewhere else.
Who knows? I think I'd like to go to Ticino in Easter, try one of those projects. It's the one I'd like to try. I call it the charlatan of Valbavona.
So
because
is that's a project or?
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's two moves, two really hard moves, and then we thought the top out was easy, but one day my friend Giuliano put the rope, and we couldn't do a single move. It was AB plus or something.
The slab thing, right?
Yeah,
Wow. That's 8B plus slab. That
it
wouldn't
was
be so
a
nice with
mental
carpet.
or a slab or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Shit. Is it high?
A little bit, yes, but not too much.
Not too much, and not a bad landing or.
No, the landing is okay, but it turns
Okay.
out somebody has climbed a variation, a different problem that tops out at the same place, and it turns out it's not so hard. It's maybe 8A, but you have to figure out all the moves.
Yeah, sounds good.
So then maybe see you in Ticino.
Thank you so much, and we
Yeah.
wish you all the best with the shoulder, and I hope to see you climb the Charlatan project
Thank you.
soon, and the sit start, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with your podcast.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, ciao.